Hello again, my friends. Once more, welcome back to the cellar. Welcome back to Leopard Street. Good news in this one. There's a follow-up from my previous video on the Accurascale J69. She's back. Yeah. And she's lovely. Let's have a look. This time, at one that works properly. This is Leopard Street. Okay, here we are. This is the Accurascale J69. Now, for those of you who saw the previous video, I had a few problems. Looks really good. Still looks really good. Really, really happy. It's an excellently designed and excellently executed model. Yeah, I think they've knocked it out of the park on this one. It's a good one. As you can see, the livery is applied brilliantly. The cab, if I just bring you around here, just have a little look at the cab. Now, you'd think that had lights in it. How bright that is. It hasn't. There's no light in there. There is a firebox flicker. It's not quite as vivid a firebox flicker as the G5 I've got. It's only a single LED rather than two. However, it's perfectly adequate. The only very, very slight issue I've noticed is you can see the firebox flicker from behind the loco under the bunker. Yeah, that's trivia. The previous one, wobbling there, put her on the track, fired her up. I turned the sound on, so let's do that again. And once I turned the sound on, I nearly deafened myself. This one carried on the tradition. This is Buckie, the loud engine. Not quite so bad now. She's been for a trip to the programming track and I've turned the volume down. There is a master volume, which I have adjusted to be about half. I've subsequently had a chance to go into the Loksound V5 decoder and oh my god, that thing is configurable. So yeah, I might do something on that at some point, but yeah, I've not really had much of a chance to play with it. Now I know how configurable that is, I'm probably going to get my J26 up at some point and have a little fiddle. Anyway, here she is, lovely little engine. Now the previous one, I set her running. Told her, go at half speed, and she made it about as far as about here, say, this sort of area, these points are. Before she started stuttering, stalling, the sound very obviously cutting out. And as a couple of people noted on the video, things I didn't really actually realise at the time, you could see the wheels sparking as she went. Short circuit somewhere, don't know what that was. Now, I did get some comments on that video. Richard with New Junction, I believe works for Accurascale, came in. Thank you very much. I realised this channel actually had people like that watching, but anyway, more than welcome. He suggested there might be an issue with the track power. I think there is, but it wasn't the fault with the loco. My system uses 15 volts DC into a DCC EX system. My track voltage, I've got a multimeter, but it's not a true RMS one, so it's not brilliant at this sort of thing. However, from my coach project rectifying things, I believe my track voltage is about 14.5, 14.7 volts, something around there. So yeah, that is slightly under. It's not going to cause the sparking. It's not going to cause a short circuit. Now, when I put this one on, she runs, I mean, we'll have a look at her running in a minute. She runs an absolute dream. Really, really smooth. The sound still was making a bit of a noise. Now, this is where I think the track power issue comes in. If you've ever played music, you know, if you turn the volume up too far, you get what's called clipping. So the sound, you're maxing out what the speakers can produce. Now, I think that is where the power issue comes in. because since I've turned the volume down a little bit, I don't get that clipping at all. She did a little bit when she was trundling on her way to the programming siding, and yeah, there was a little bit of clipping on that. Go from another angle slightly while I carry on here. Yeah, okay. I mean, I suspected that might be a problem. So if you've got sound clipping, it's either going to be adjust the volume, and to be honest, this isn't so much turned up to 11. This is trying for 12 out of the box. It is unbelievably loud. The microphone on the last video did not capture how loud this locomotive was. The whistle, for example, if I just do a little whistle, that actually hurt my ears to the point it was that loud. I'm guessing they're set to max so that if people are doing demonstrations in shops... Oh, we've got Firebox flicker. Ooh, Firebox flicker. Let's come around here and have a look at the Firebox flicker. See that? Lovely. Yeah, I'm guessing it's so if they're being demonstrated in shops, you can hear them. And yeah, I don't have a problem with it. It's really easy to adjust. You get a list in the box of all the individual CV volume settings. I use Decoder Pro with JMRI, so instead of having to look at that list of these settings, I've got an adjustment page I can play with, which I quite like. She's now running. She's had half an hour in each direction, and it has been an hour of absolutely flawless running. She has not stalled once. She has not needed pushing once. The sound hasn't cut out once. It's not jittered once. There's no clipping on it now. Absolutely perfect little loco. She's still got the stay alive. Still making noise. Now I believe, I'm not 100% sure, there are some obscure settings on the little card for the features you get, one of which is PPC. I find it hard to believe she's got a phased plasma cannon on board, so I've got no idea what that stands for. And the other one is power. Now, whether that is the ability to turn off or control the stay alive, I have not experimented yet. Anyone who knows what those settings are, more than welcome. The other thing the instructions don't tell you is what functions they're attached to. So they are attached to functions as far as I can tell. Yeah, so no idea. Anyway, she's running. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move the camera slightly and then put it back down again, because I need to be the other side of her for this, because what we're going to do is look at how smoothly this little beauty runs. So if I come onto here, this is speed step 1. Now, a little bit coggy, very, very little bit. Go up a little bit more, but she crawls. I'm like I say, yeah, tad coggy. You've got to look close though, to be fair. Here we go backwards. She's got a setting which is again in the decoder setting, whereby she flicker going again. She won't move for a short while with the sound on. But that's the low speed running. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom back out slightly. I'm going to set her going around the curve at the end. Now remember the last video. All I can say is compare and contrast. So here we go. Off we go. And this is setting up to about 50%. She has a very sensible speed curve loaded. And it is a speed curve, which I think is how all locomotives should be. But listen. Nothing. No cutting out at all. Tell her to stop. That's not the brake sound effect, that's a flange squeal sound effect. The only thing I'm going to have to do with this locomotive, really, before I can have her into service, she's got Ilford depot plates on her, which is all well and good. Leopard Street's in Yorkshire somewhere, so I'm going to have to remove those. There are a load of other ones in the bag. I've not got around to looking at exactly what else we've got. What I'm going to do, I'm going to bring her up. I'm going to couple her up to a couple of wagons. And a couple of wagons I don't use very often. This isn't the 7-plank Oxford Rail rake, because that's got KD couplings, so only the J26 can haul it currently. And it's not my Hornby covered van rake, which are the normal ones I do. I've dug up just a few others, which I'm going to have a look at. So we're going to bring her in. I'm going to relocate the camera. I'm going to bring her up, couple her up, and we'll see how we go. Bear in mind, this is going to be, slow down here, this is going to be my depot shunting locomotive. What I'm going to do is bring up a little rake of wagons, and it's 8 wagons and a brake van. I have no reason to think whatsoever this is going to be a problem. She does have, if I try this again, there's an uncouple feature. If I can find it, so I'll trigger that. And this is one of these lovely little uncouple shuffles. It's not much. The other way, try again. There we go, just a little bit of movement. How useful that'll be to me, I'm not entirely sure. But let's zoom in and see how well she couples up. I've not actually had her hauling anything yet, so we shall see. Backwards, nice and slowly. There we go. Hopefully she'll couple. Got him. And there is another sound effect. Buffer, clash, and uncouple. So, yeah. Now, as I've previously mentioned with all these sound effects, I mean, I'm triggering them manually here. To get the most out of them, you need a level of automation stuff. Oh, yeah. We'll wait for the firebox flicker to finish, because without the sound clipping, the carnival sounds lovely. Kick that off. I'm not playing it all. If you want to play it all, if you've got one of these things, you'll know exactly the sound effects that this is doing. I think that's fun. Now, as previously, Sam's Trains has done a lovely review on the DC version of these things. He's sort of going over the whole thing, the mechanism. One of the things I think is actually worth having a look at are the wheels. They're not painted black. What they've been is chemically blackened. Now, this is why they're a bit... They're not flat black. As you can see, it looks like, oh, there's bits that have rubbed off here and there. Yeah, it will. It's chemical blackening. You don't handle the wheels very often. It's not really a problem. I actually quite like how that looks. It's got a sort of oily look to it. When I'm doing gaming models and I'm painting something like that, I'll be painting it black and then lightly dry brushing it with a metallic colour. And that's how that looks. But, I mean, seriously, just to have a slight wobble here, look at the lining on this. Lamp irons, buffers, which, of course, are sprung. I know some people do obsess about that. To be honest, if your buffers are touching, you're doing something wrong. Oh, and this little bit here. Now, this wasn't present on the last one. It was loose in the box. I had no idea where it went. I thought it was like a detailing piece you had to fit yourself, but apparently not. It is actually fitted. So whether something had happened to the other one, I don't know. Right, anyway, back to normal zoom. I'm just going to make sure the layout is set up or running, which it is. And what we're going to do is we're going to set off. So we have some doors slamming, which is probably more use if you've got passenger vehicles behind it, because these did haul passenger services. We're going to go with, where are we? And that's 2 separate sound effects. Put her into forwards, and off we go. And watch as the little rake of wagons I've set up goes past with her. So I've got some Bachmann 3-plank, which I like. I don't normally use, but I do like. They're part of a mixed train. We've then got my Whitby Brewery Dapple wagons. Now, I don't use these very often because they derail a lot. So I'm going to be interesting to see how they go. They are followed by a 6-plank Oxford rail. There's got a mineral wagon and my M&GN container wagon with a little brake band at the end. So, without further ado, what I'm going to do is to normal zoom. I'm going to elevate the camera slightly, so you have to excuse me for this one. I'll zoom back in a little bit. And that's quarter speed, so run up to half speed, why not? Release the brake on the camera so I can watch what I'm doing. And off she goes with a short little freight train past what's sort of known as Candle Corner, because that is where that candle pretty much lives now. It's rolling down the incline. This is it's about a 1 in 50. It's a little bit steeper in a few places, but it'll do. And like I say, she's run absolutely flawlessly. Really, really beautiful little loco. I'm really, really happy with this one. Yes, a slight problem. However, sorted. And full credit to Rails. Rails of Sheffield, where this one came from. I sent them a little video clip of the last one. I really just ask, am I doing anything wrong here? Is there anything I need to do differently? And they came back with, no, that looks like a fault. Send her back. So I had a trip in last Saturday. It's Friday when I'm recording. Friday when I'm recording this? Yeah, it's Friday when I'm recording this. She turned up Thursday lunchtime. Gave her a quick run. I was out Thursday night, so I couldn't do much else. And that was that. She came back. She's rejoined the fleet, which will drop down into underworld mode here. Past some of the wiring. Look that way. Yeah, unfortunately, not going to see much further beyond that, but never mind. We'll see whether she makes it round with all the wagons. Yeah, so absolutely painless process. Can't credit Rails enough for that one. It's a normal zoom here so we can see her. And plus those wires. I'm looking for the brake van, because the brake van tells me nothing's derailed and fell off. So that can go round. I shall reset my tracks a little bit. And off she goes. And I'm going to be daring. I'm going to send her around the reversing loop. That could be interesting. She has been round it. She went round it as part of the running in. I'm more curious to see whether the wagons will make it round this time. She'll come back into view shortly. She comes out here. And zoom back in again. And then she goes around. This is obviously now on the main line. Where, yeah, she'll chug around quite nicely. One of the nice things with the decoder, you've got a number of slots. I can't remember how many it is, but it's like 7 or 8 slots where you can say, I want random things to happen. And out of the box, Accurascale have set this up quite nicely. So she's just does the coal shovel occasionally, does the injector shovels. And I believe, I've not tried because I don't have a DC layout, I believe if you put her on DC and you've got the digital sound equipped version, the sounds will play. How useful that is to you, I don't know. I mean, to be honest, if I had a DC only layout, we have a derailed wagon. So stop. There we go. The Dapple wagon strike again. Anyway, I'm going to run a backup. We'll have a little talk in a sec as we finish this off. Yeah, so here she is towards the end of her run, just coming back up on the approach track. Now, obviously, she can't go into the goods yard because it doesn't exist yet. So we're just going to roll past and stop on the arrivals line. So thoughts? What do I think? I think she's lovely. She really is a lovely little engine. I think Accurascale have knocked it out of the park on this one. My first engine. Yeah, there was a problem with it. These things happen. I don't really have a huge problem with that. The issue is not, do you have a problem? The issue is, how is that problem handled? And here, Rails, Richard jumping on with some comments as well from Accurascale, even if sort of slightly unofficially. I don't know that, but I can't fault it. I'm more than happy with that as a level of service, to be honest with you. She's an expensive loco. The sound fitted was about £240. I'm just going to hit the brakes there, because if she goes too much further, she's going to be getting up close and personal with a passenger train, just sort of lurking up there. So we'll just bring round here. I'll put the camera back on it. Excuse me a second while I try and sort this out. I'm not very good at video, you may have noticed. We shall see. Tightening up, or no, I think I'm loosening that. Tighten that up. There we go. And get a level again. So yeah, final thoughts. Expensive, a little bit. I mean, to say she's only a little 060 shunting engine. The level of detail is phenomenal, though. She looks good at a distance. She looks good up close. I could possibly do with getting some crew for her. She does need a coal load. Could they have put a little bit of plastic in there with a bit of coal load on it? Yeah, maybe. But actually, doing your own coal load, it'll probably look better. It saves you replacing something if you're going to do something more detailed. So the killer is, would I have another one? I don't need another one. And since the case with rolling stock, yes, I probably would get loads. They're available in all sorts of little colours. Yeah, I would, to be honest. If I hadn't need for a second shunting engine, if I had a bigger layout with multiple stations, I could see having another one of these. They did passenger work, they did freight work, they did shunting duties. They sort of ended up all over the place in the end as well, I gather. Yeah, very good. Just top marks for me. I've got 3 sound-fitted locomotives. I've got this one, I've got the Accurascale J69, which is also lovely, and I've got the Bachmann Model Centre collaboration on the G5. I love them all. Really, really high detail lotos. I'm astounded at the level of detail on this one. She's also my least dusty engine because she's only been out of the box 2 days, so we'll see how long that lasts. But with that, I'm going to leave it there. A successful conclusion to the original video. This is what she should have been like out of the box. Excuse me. And I dare say, for the vast majority of people who's had one of these things, this is what she's been like out of the box. Yeah, there's a few things you could improve on it. Crew, coal load, maybe a lamp or two on the front. That's your lot. Other than that, she's there. She's spot on. She looks the part. I can't comment really on how accurate she is because I don't know the prototype. However, you've only got to look at a few of the details on her to realise someone at Accurascale spent a lot of time researching. So, yes. Anyway, that's me. That is the Accurascale J26, complete with a firebox flickering effect. How happy is she? What does she think? I think she's happy. Turn the sound off. Gradually fades out. Yeah, so that's been Leopard Street. I will catch you all in the next one, which will probably be Tuesday, where hopefully I will have spent a little bit of time over the weekend instead of procrastinating, actually doing something. Until then, thank you very much for watching. Likes, comments, shares, etc. more than welcome. If anybody else has got one of these things, I hope you love it as much as I do. Anyway, I will see you all in the next one. Thanks very much, and goodbye.